Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark. The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, this is Jessie. I am happy to be back with you guys. It has been another rough day for our law enforcement community. Now, this is kind of breaking news, so what can I say? I'm hoping it's all accurate. I can't confirm it. I'm going off what the other news outlets are saying. There were 2 more officers gunned down in Michigan today in a courthouse. Now, if you have not been to a courthouse recently, and you may not have had need to, so, you have to go through a metal detector. You can't just walk in carrying whatever you want. You can't, even if you're a law enforcement official, unless you're there in an official capacity, you can't bring in a firearm. No, you can't. Not even Leos can. If you're going to court and it is not an official capacity kind of thing, you are treated the same as everybody else. Alright, I do have some audio on this. Let's take a listen and we'll go from there. Now, before I start the audio, I do have other topics to cover. But if a breaking news update comes in while I'm discussing one of those other topics, I do have the ability to pull in audio from other news sources so I can keep you up to date during my show. Alright? So if I suddenly say, wait, stop, breaking news, and I pull in another audio source, and the topic changes, you know what's going on. I'm going to make it a habit every time I'm on live with you to have other news audio feeds available to myself so that if something breaks while I'm on the air, I can immediately change gears. Now, this may create a few bumps in the show, but it's my way of saying the breaking news is more important, especially when it involves our law enforcement community. All right, now let's take a listen to that audio about the shooting that happened today, just a few hours ago, in Michigan. I think I've got the right audio queued up. Let's take a listen.
We continue to get new information out of Berrien County, Michigan. What we know right now is that 2 bailiffs earlier this afternoon were killed by a gunman at a courthouse in St. Joseph, Michigan. That's according to the undersheriff in Berrien County, which is in the southwest part of the lower peninsula in Michigan, about 45 minutes north of South Bend, Indiana. We are also told that the shooter has been killed and the site has been secured. Let me bring back CNN's Deb Fayrick. Deb, what else are you learning right now about this tragedy?
So what we know is that the 2 bailiffs, the court law enforcement officers, were in fact shot and killed. Another deputy sheriff was apparently wounded. According to the Michigan Department of Corrections, they've got an office inside that building, which is sort of a full-service building. All the courts are there. We're told that a corrections employee on the 3rd floor saw the gunman run by, and the shooting is believed to have occurred on the 3rd floor. That's where the civil trials take place. An ABC local is reporting, Jake, that the man may have been on his way to jail, that he grabbed a deputy's gun and he began to open fire. So that's one of the things that CNN is now working to confirm, working to verify. But sheer panic, and the entire area was put on lockdown while this was happening at about 2:30 this afternoon.
And looks like the loss of life of 2 more law enforcement officers, which is a huge tragedy. Our caveat, as always, that the information is fresh, it is new, it is just coming in from officials, and sometimes they have to come back and revise their statements. So keep that in mind as we report this breaking news story. Deb Fayrick, thank you so much. I want to talk right now on the phone with Greta Vokenstein. She was driving by the courthouse when she saw the commotion.
All right, so I have seen that audio is from CNN. I have seen various other news outlets reporting the same numbers. The shooter is dead. 2 deputies are dead. There are a number of wounded that have been taken to hospitals. Now, I've got one more brief segment of audio on this topic. And I want to bring it to you. It's a former NYPD detective's immediate gut reaction to what happened today and how he feels the law enforcement community is taking this. This is also from CNN.
Tom Fuentes, and elsewhere we have former NYPD detective Harry. Harry, let me start with you. In the aftermath of Dallas, what is the feeling among members of the law enforcement community right now? How concerned are they that they have targets on their chest, even more so than they normally do in the job they do?
Well, I'll tell you right now, every officer that's hearing this right now is probably saying to himself, Jesus, not again.
Like I said, it was just a brief news clip, and I'm sorry you caught me snacking. I have, in trying to get all this audio for you, I did not get my lunch today. So I'm going to ask you to bear with me while I swallow my snack. I do have another audio clip. It relates to the current issues going on in this country about the race, the division among race. So let's take a listen to that while I swallow my cookie.
What's unfortunate now is that if we have a shooting involving law enforcement, especially this week, the real question on people's mind they want to ask, was the shooter black, was the shooter white? Were the victims black, were the victims white? And that's where we're at because of the other events this week. As mentioned by Paul Callan earlier in a previous broadcast, this is all too common in courts. It's almost garden variety. Individual tries to get a gun, shoots people in a courtroom, shoots a judge. It does happen, and it happens too often, frankly.
All right. I believe that was also from CNN. Now, I thought Chief Brown had some rather interesting comments about, his comments seemed directed at the protesters. Yes, he was going directly to the protesters, or at least speaking to them. Let's take a listen to this. Yes, I have more stories, but I must say that my thoughts and prayers go out to the law enforcement community as a whole, and the Michigan families of the Michigan officers who were wounded and killed today. I will be reaching out to officials in Michigan trying to get interviews. If you did not hear my interview with Dallas Fraternal Order of Police President, the Dallas Fraternal Order of Police President on Saturday, it is available for on-demand replay. It is available for download, including on iTunes. All my stuff comes up under Jessie's POV on iTunes. You can also go over to the K98 Spreaker feed and find me there. Or you can go to my website, jessiespov.com. So, and if you want to reach out to me, you can shoot me an email. You can email me at jessiespov@k98talk.org. Now, keep an ear out on that email address because it's going to be changing in probably about a month. Now, I want to take a listen to the audio with Chief Brown.
And Dallas Police Chief David Brown has an interesting solution how to make things better. Here's what his message to Black Lives Matter protesters was earlier.
I'm the kind of person that I probably wouldn't protest or complain. I'd get involved and do something about it by becoming part of the solution. Serve your community. Don't be a part of the problem. We're hiring. We're hiring. Get off that protest line and put an application in. And we'll put you in your neighborhood and we will help you resolve some of the problems you're protesting about.
Okay, I've got some other audio playing in my ears, so if I get distracted for a second, I apologize in advance. Now, I personally must condemn anyone, I don't care if you're black, white, brown, purple, Martian, dragon, fairy, dwarf, elf, whatever you identify as. Any person who attempts to strike down our serve and protect community, I condemn your actions. I do not hate you, but I condemn your actions. And by serve and protect community, law enforcement, firefighters, paramedics, and military, those kind of people, the people that run into harm's way when everyone else is going the other direction. I love and respect all of you. So, I do love and respect all of you, and I can't say enough good things about you. I've reached out to several law enforcement communities across the nation after these shootings, giving my condolences and that of K98 Talk, the Spark Radio Network, and our new affiliate that's coming online soon, KLRN. Oh yeah, we got a new affiliate coming up. All right. Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to rant about this for just a few more minutes. Gun control is not the solution, in my opinion. Preventing citizens taking away the Second Amendment right is not going to stop this. Declaring some rifle as too powerful based on how it looks is not an informed, productive decision. Your average hunting rifle and all these things that keep getting termed assault rifles, there's not really much difference in power. Most of the differences are cosmetic. Oh yeah. Most of the differences are cosmetic. I've handled 2 identical caliber rifles, one that would have been termed assault rifle and one that was termed hunting rifle. Guess what? They fired the same bullets. Guess what else? Both bullets traveled the same distance. Oh yeah. Now it's been a while since I did it. I don't have video or audio, but I'm sorry. Smacking down people's Second Amendment rights is not the solution. What is the solution? Can we all just be Americans and support each other and for once try and get along? I mean, really? It's getting to the point where I'm just sitting here every time I turn around, I'm bringing you guys bad news. Now, while that is kind of part of my job, it doesn't mean I like it. I'd rather be bringing you good news. I really would. Because guess what? Guess what? Believe it or not, these negative stories have an impact on me. They have an impact on everyone who gets involved with them. Whether it's the reporter like me covering it from a distance. Now, maybe I'm impacted a little bit more, and I will admit this because I'm a Special Forces widow. So I can put myself in the shoes of the families and friends of those most deeply affected. But it has an impact. And I'm going to make an admission right here on air. I was originally going to do Rick's Friday night America Off the Rails show. But by the time I got done mine and started on the show prep on his show, I was emotionally, mentally, and physically drained. I could go no further. Now, if you recall on Friday night, I was up really late Thursday night. Now, that's what you knew. You also didn't know that work called right after that, and I was running Friday on about 3 hours of sleep. You try running back-to-back days on little sleep, I'll tell you what, energy drinks are a best friend. I don't like to drink them, and yes, I take precautions and drink hydrating beverages in between. I don't just sit and down energy drinks. But I hit the wall Friday night. I was getting ready to, I was starting work on the show, and I just hit the wall. I could go no further. So if it can affect me that much, how much does it affect people that knew the men and women that were gunned, well, I think in this case they were all men, but the law enforcement officers that were gunned down, how much more does it affect them? How much more does it affect the people on the scene? Now, why can't we all just be Americans? And I understand you want to identify with your ethnic or racial or religious heritage. I have no issue with that. But do you 100% of the time need to be identified as African American? Or are there times where you're just an American? My opinion, I don't run around saying I'm a Jewish American. I run around saying I'm an American. And I got a real quick audio clip here I'm going to play just because I just pulled it up, just because I want to.
They tell us that they really care. To them it's just a game. 'Cause we were all Americans before the hyphens came. But people cared about who you were and less about your name. 'Cause we were all Americans before the hyphens came.
All right. Now, like I said, are there times I use the term Jewish American? Yeah, there's times. But believe it or not, most of the time, I'm just Jessie. That's it. I don't need another label. Yes, if I'm yes, I'm an American. But do I really feel, I don't feel like I need a label. If somebody asked me for a label, the first thing out of my mouth would probably be military spouse. Or show host on K98 Talk, or show host for the Spark Radio Network. I mean, I don't need a racial label. To me, it makes no sense why everyone feels they need these labels 100% of the time. It really doesn't. And I have to admit I'm probably in the minority on it, but I had to bring it up. So, now, if you have not heard, something that will be highly covered by all your major news outlets, and I'm going to check the schedule, check the time, and see if I can at least record some audio from it. President Obama and President George W. Bush are both going to be speaking at a memorial service tonight in Dallas for the fallen heroes. So, I mean, that's something I'm going to get the audio for, and if I'm up to it, if I haven't completely hit the wall, I will try and get a second episode pulled together for tonight. Let me pull up the show calendar. And I do not know off the top of my head what time the memorial is. I'm sure I can look it up. Okay, we've got Real Serious Nonsense, followed by the Stafford Voice and America Off the Rails. So it will be late, but if I'm up to it, I will bring it to you. If not, I will have it up for you ahead of my normal show schedule time tomorrow. So probably sometime after the Patriot Radio show. So, but anyway, I've got some other audio, like I said, playing. I'm keeping an eye on various situations. There are protests. There have been protests all around the nation. I have no issue with peaceful protests. If you want to get out there with your sign and have a peaceful protest, gather in a park, whatever, great, go for it. Go about it properly. Get a permit, stick to the route, etc. However, do not force law enforcement to take action by deviating from the agreed upon protest route, by trying to block a major interstate highway. That not only puts your life in jeopardy, your friends' lives in jeopardy, but the law enforcement officers who are out there trying to make sure you don't get mowed down by some tractor trailer barreling through. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. Value your lives and don't endanger your lives or the law enforcement community. Come on. You got to see that one. So, anyway, I'm going to take a brief commercial break. And then we're going to move on to things like the South China Sea and good old North Korea. You didn't think I could get through a whole episode without those two characters, did you? And I've even got a couple comments about our good old arch enemies, the Islamic State. Oh, yeah. So, all right. We're going to go to commercial. I'm just checking to make sure I have everything queued up properly. It's going to take me just a second. I heard some people have host monkeys. I think I have a host kitty. I have cats, not monkeys. So... all right, now that I've finally moved that last audio track into the proper space, let's go pay those bills.
You can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Forget what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, easy and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com. Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
Writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
You can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Forget what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country needing you right now, but I don't wanna.
Hey, this is Dave Bray, America's Patriotic Rocker. Just giving you a shout out. Make sure you stay tuned and listen in to K98 Talk.
All right. Thank you guys for bearing with me through that commercial break. Now, I do have two more announcements insofar as the tragedy in Dallas. The memorial service is at 8 p.m. Dallas time. And DART is doing free shuttle service from starting at 6 p.m. So starting in about half an hour in Dallas, you'll be able to get a free shuttle to the memorial. Now, the other thing that came through, and this came from the Dallas Police Association. All right. To benefit officers' families impacted by the ambush attack, Dallas Police Association urges support for the Assist the Officer Fund. Unfortunately, a as the case during a time of tragedy, questionable charitable organizations are quickly formed to profit from the suffering of others. The Dallas Police Association strongly cautions against donating to questionable charities, GoFundMe accounts, or new unknown charities formed in the aftermath of the July 7th ambush of Dallas police officers. The Dallas Police Association was founded in 1959 as the oldest, largest, and most diverse police employee organization in North Texas. And you can find their website at, I'm looking for the link, yes, atodallas.org. Now, 100% of the fund contributions go to assist the wounded and the fallen officers and their families, because the administrative costs for the Assist the Officer Fund are 100% funded by the Dallas Police Association, which means every cent you donate to the Assist the Officer Fund or Assist the Officer Foundation goes straight to the families. All right. I also have information on the funeral arrangements. I'm not going to try and read all this out for fear at least for 3 of the fallen. I'm not going to try and read it out, but I will post it on my personal website, jessiespov.com, and I will share the link out. And it looks like two of the fallen are being handled by Restland Funeral Home in Dallas, and the other one is Griffin Ruffton. But like I said, I will put all this information out on my personal website. All right? Hey, you know I always try and keep you guys up to date and informed. Sometimes that's a very hard task. But what can I say? All right, I'm taking a quick flip through my news, my emails, just to see if I have anything else of note that I wasn't already bringing up. You know, we tend to go through my... Oh, here's an interesting one. On July 10th, the Moldovan Defense Minister Anatol Sălaru asked NATO to help withdraw Russian soldiers from the autonomous region east of the Dniester River known as the Transnistria. For 25 years, forces of the Russian Federation have been illegally based on the territory of the Republic of Moldova. We ask you to support our initiative to transform the mission in Dniester region to the region of the Republic of Moldova into a multinational civilian mission, as well as to withdraw the Russian army and its munitions in accordance with international obligations. Sălaru thanked NATO for its help in raising the defense potential of the Moldovan army within the framework of the defense capacity building, and gave assurances that the Republic aspires to become a more reliable partner of the alliance. The Defense Ministry chief also invited NATO members to hold military training in Moldova. So, although Moldova is not a NATO member, its leaders are trying to benefit from NATO's anti-Russian resurgence to remove the 1,200-man Russian regiment in the Transnistria. The Russian troop presence is a remnant and holdover from the Soviet army that was based in Moldova in the 1980s and in the early 1990s. Transnistria declared independence from Moldova after War of Secession in 1992. Since then, it has been self-governing. Armed intervention by the Russian 14th Guards Army, Russian 14th Guards Army in Moldova at the time was critical to Transnistria's de facto secession. The Transnistrian region remains pro-Russian and uses many Soviet-era symbols and practices. In 2014, Transnistria sent a delegation to Moscow to request recognition and support for secession from Moldova. At the time, Donetsk and Luhansk announced their secession from Ukraine. Russia denied their request. Russia considers the soldiers to be peacekeepers. Moldova wants the Russians to withdraw and be replaced by a civilian peacekeeping mission. Alright, so that's a new one. That's one I didn't have on my radar. Now you see why I like to go through my mailbox every now and again. Alright. Taking one more quick spin. One more quick spin, like I said. Oh, yeah, this one, you've probably seen this one on the regular news, but I'm going to bring it up here just because it's cool. Where is it? I know, knowing me, I've already scrolled past it. Alright, I'm just going to talk off the top of my head without reading it. Facebook is working on providing secure person-to-person private messaging system. This would prevent anyone, including law enforcement officers, from accessing your private messages. Now, this means the messages would exist on the device from what they were sent to the device they were received. How this is going to affect access across multiple platforms, such as your smartphone versus your computer versus your tablet, I don't know. Do I think it's an interesting and potentially good thing? Yes and no. I still want law enforcement to be able to kind of get in there if they need to, but I definitely don't want John Q. Idiot John Q. Hacker. I won't say idiot, but John Q. Hacker to be able to get in. Okay, just pull up some more information on it. Private messages that can disappear are being trialed by Facebook as it experiments with a new option for those using its Instant Messenger app. So this would probably not be on the computer. They become hidden after a certain period of time chosen by the author. It's part of a new secret message service having a limited trial. Senders must choose one device to use it on, as messages sent this way are stored on the device itself. Those flagged to disappear will be deleted from the device itself. Starting a secret conversation with someone is optional. Secret conversations can only be read on one device. We recognize that experience may not be right for everyone. Facebook's listed health and financial issues, examples of messages that people may wish to keep more private, while others have mentioned love affairs. The idea is being tried on a limited basis, but added it would be more widely available over the summer. Video and GIFs cannot be shared secretly at the moment. The service will also have extra features for reporting abuse, and once this is introduced, there will be a delay in the deletion of messages to enable flagging. Facebook will never have access to a plain text message unless one participant in a secret conversation voluntarily reports the conversation. Service is built into the Signal protocol by Open Whisper Systems, which is widely used by messaging apps and said cybersecurity expert Professor Alan Wood. So, alright, now, I am almost out of time. Where is this hour gone? Alright. You know I can't get through a segment without North Korea. Come on, you really expected me to? North Korea said on Monday it had told the United States it will cut the only channel of communication between them at the United Nations in New York after Washington blacklisted Kim Jong-un last week for human rights abuses. All matters related to the United States, including the handling of U.S. citizens detained by Pyongyang, will now be conducted under its wartime law. Its official KCNA news agency said the move was the latest according to the official news agency KCNA. I don't like the way this one's written. The move was the latest escalation of the tension with the isolated country, which earlier on Monday threatened a physical response after the United States and South Korea said they would deploy the THAAD missile defense system in South Korea. As the United States will not accept our demand for the immediate withdrawal of the sanctions measure, we will be taking corresponding actions and steps, KCNA said. As the first step, we have notified that the New York contact channel that has been the only existing channel of contact will be completely severed. The Republic will handle all matters arising between us and the United States from now on under our wartime laws, and the matters of Americans detained are no exception to this. U.S. State Department spokesman John Kirby declined to comment specifically on the North Korean statement, but said such rhetoric obviously is not doing anything to ease tensions. 2 Americans are currently known to be detained in North Korea. Otto Warmber, of University of Virginia student, was sentenced in March to 15 years of hard labor for trying to steal an item with a propaganda slogan. And Korean-American Kim Dong-chol is serving a 10-year sentence for espionage, according to the North Korean state media. Kirby repeated a call for North Korea to release the Americans from improper and unjust detention and stressed the need for it to adhere to the Vienna Convention commitment to allow consular access. North Korea has previously indicated that wartime laws mean detainees will not be released on humanitarian grounds. This could delay the release of Americans, giving North Korea one of its last bits of leverage in negotiations with the United States, according to Kumar from Amnesty International's USA International Advocacy Director. Detention is one of its highest levels now, and one of the areas they have control over is with the detainees. They will use them as bargaining chips to get some advantages. Kumar said he did not think the prisoners would be affected in other significant ways. North Korea and the United States technically remain at war because the 1950 to 1953 Korean War, in which Washington sided with South Korea, was only ended with a truce. The so-called New York Channel via North Korea's mission to the United Nations has been an intermittent point of contact between North Korea and the United States, which do not have diplomatic relations. It has been used in the past to exchange messages and hold discussions, including over detainees held by North Korea. However, the release of past U.S. detainees had generally come only after visits to Pyongyang by high-profile U.S. leaders, including former Presidents Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter and Director of National Intelligence James Clapper. Warmber's mother, Cynthia, declined to comment when reached by telephone on Monday. Simon Park, senior minister with the Korean Central Presbyterian Church in Centreville, Virginia, who worked with Kim Do for 7 years, said he was concerned for him and his wife and their 2 children who are living in China. He is currently on a hard labor sentence, and whether this will change or not, we are not sure. Park said that, adding that he last spoke with Kim shortly before his imprisonment. All we can do is pray for him, Park said. North Korea views the fact that Washington has sanctioned Kim Jong-un personally as an act of war, as a declaration of war. On Saturday, North Korea test-fired a ballistic missile from a submarine, but it appeared to fizzle out shortly after launch. The United States and South Korea said on Friday the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense Anti-Missile System, THAAD for short, people, THAAD, would be used to counter North Korea's growing nuclear and ballistic missile capabilities. This announcement was the latest move by the Allies against North Korea, which conducted its 4th nuclear test this year and launched a long-range rocket, resulting in tough new United Nations sanctions. North Korea frequently threatens to attack South Korea and U.S. interests in Asia and the Pacific. Alright, I got some audio on this. No offense, I'm getting tired of reading it. So let's take a listen to this audio, and I'll skim through the rest of the story and see if there's anything else worth picking out.
ruthless retaliation, the latest threat from North Korea on Monday, promising to turn the South into a sea of fire and pile of ashes. Its response to plans by Seoul and Washington to move an anti-missile system onto Pyongyang's doorstep. The $800 million THAAD defense designed to intercept missiles high in the Earth's atmosphere. The news hasn't just kicked up a firestorm in Pyongyang. Beijing is also furious. Reuters' Joo-min Park says Seoul is now doing damage control.
South Korean President Park says THAAD is not targeting any third country other than North Korea, which appears to be a clear message to Beijing to calm down. But Chinese officials are upset with Foreign Minister Wang Yi suggesting there was a conspiracy behind this move.
A good relationship with Beijing is important for Seoul. China is a huge market for South Korean products from electronics to cosmetics. Now some warn that bringing in THAAD could backfire and end up hurting South Korea's economy.
The decision to deploy THAAD already drove down South Korean cosmetic shares. And now experts warn that THAAD can lead to wider boycott of South Korean products or some actions in retaliation by China that could hit the trade.
Tensions are already high on the Korean peninsula. Washington recently blacklisting leader Kim Jong-un, a move that the North has called an act of war. Pyongyang hit back by firing off a ballistic missile from a submarine, which apparently fizzled quickly after launch. The announcement about THAAD has only ratcheted up the tensions. South Korea is expected to confirm where the system will be deployed soon. The allies plan to get it up and running by the end of 2017.
The third and youngest son of Kim Jong-il, the second leader of North Korea. Kim Jong-il died in 2011, the young leader accompanying his father's casket as North Korea grieved. Then soon after, he debuted as North Korea's leader. New and young. There were signals of a different era for North Korea. Kim Jong-un allowing his voice to be heard on state-run television. Embracing modern images of the West. His own wife appearing in Western suits. Allowing in new music. Borrowing heavily from Western pop music. Even embracing an unusual friendship with former Chicago Bulls basketball player Dennis Rodman. Kim Jong-un has continued North Korea's military-first policy, the same cycle of threats and provocations, missile launches, emphasis on building nuclear weapons, political and cultural oppression of his people. Kim Jong-un is proving to be bloodthirsty with his own elites, purging his closest advisors, even his own uncle. And like his father, he doesn't take lightly to any mocking.
I have a gift for you.
The movie, The Interview, parodied him on film. Shortly before the movie's release, Sony Pictures was the subject of a massive hack and data drop. U.S. intelligence blames North Korea's hackers for the cyber attack. If there was any hope, the young leader might be different from his father. That is gone.
All right, so there was hope that Kim Jong-un would change some of the policies of North Korea. As we've seen, no, he actually saber rattles more. So, all right. I don't normally discuss politics, but I am going to see if I can attend a Donald Trump rally if there's one nearby. I have not yet. I am checking to see if there is going to be one in my area anytime soon. However, I don't usually cover politics, but, you know, hey. What can I say? Looks like they only tend to release 2 or 3 days at a time. And Virginia Beach, Virginia, and then he's got one in Westfield, Indiana. So nothing I'm willing to go to, so we'll touch back on that later. I'd at least like to get some audio of him speaking since he seems to have toned it down, his rhetoric down a bit, and see about his military policies. If he comes back to my area, I will even put in a media request for an interview. No guarantee it'll be granted, but I will do my best. All right. back to my other topics. Why I've discussed the South China Sea issue, which is going to come to a head very soon. We are expecting a decision from the arbitration court in The Hague as soon as tomorrow. Now, I've got a little bit of audio that explains what the different land masses in the ocean are and how they're defined and why it's so important for them to be called islands as far as China is concerned. Let's take a listen.
Island, rock, or reef? So why is this such an important question for the South China Sea? Well, if you own an island under international law, you have exclusive economic rights to an area 200 nautical miles around your island. You can look for fish, you can search for oil or gas, but in order to be classified as an island, it has to be able to support human life. So, thanks Nino, that means that it must have fresh water. And very few of the features in the South China Sea have that. So most of them are likely to be classified as rocks, which basically means that they just about stay out of the water at high tide. And rocks have a much smaller entitlement to water, only 12 nautical miles around the rock. And then there's reefs, which go underwater at high tide. Now, you can't own a reef. It belongs to the seabed, and whoever has rights to that particular bit of seabed. Now, China has occupied several of the reefs in the South China Sea. And if you can just help me again, Nina, that's great. And China has dredged the waters around the reefs and put sand, cement on top of the reef, effectively turning it into an island. They've even put airstrips on some of them. Now, under international law, an artificial island has no legal basis. But as you can see, whether something is classified as an island, a rock, or indeed a reef, has huge implications legally for who controls what in the South China Sea.
All right. So, I thought that little bit of audio was interesting because China has already said it will not abide by the arbitration court at The Hague, and that it's claiming ownership of the South China Sea, which give it the legal rights. Now, this is based on a little bit of history. Let's take a listen to another very brief audio clip.
China's insistence that it owns huge swathes of the South China Sea is based in part on the claim that its fishermen have for generations been heading out hundreds of miles into these waters to ply their trade.
Now, what's interesting about this is an old fisherman claims he had a book that was passed down 3 or 4 generations in his family. But as important as this, it showed him how to get to this, what's commonly referred to as the Spratly Island, the disputed Spratly Islands in the South China Sea, and how to get back. Now, as important as this book was, he supposedly threw it away because it had become broken because the pages had been flipped through so many times. Now, I didn't record the audio from that segment, and I'm not bothering to play it for you because a large portion of it was subtitled, and if you're like me, you don't speak Chinese, so it wouldn't make much sense anyway. Alright, I am going to, assuming that the decision from the Hague comes down before I get on the air, which I'm anticipating it will, I will try and bring you that decision and any international reactions I can locate. And with that, I'm out of time. So, I'm out of here!